Hey there, we're Shannon and Jerry Arner, your hosts of the Arner Adventures podcast.
We're a minimalist couple driven by intentional living and adventure.
Burned out from the 24/7 grind of running our business, we traded the hustle and the bustle for something more meaningful.
We parted ways with most of our belongings and moved to the coast.
Listen along as we chat about life's challenges, share inspiring stories of those who have taken big leaps to live a life outside of the norm,
and help you live with more intention and less physical and mental clutter.
Each episode is a step toward doing and being just a little bit better for ourselves and the world around us.
Life's an adventure after all. Join us for the ride.
It's the Arner Adventures podcast. Hello everybody, this is Jerry.
And this is Shannon.
And we're back for episode 158 of the Arner Adventures podcast.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
We hope that you're enjoying 2025 so far. When this drops, it'll be, I think, the first full week of January.
Yep.
So we hope that your New Year's celebration was just what you wanted it to be, and we hope that everything is going smoothly for you thus far.
I hope it is. I hope the weather's as nice where you are as it is where we are. We're having real nice days down here in North Carolina. So yeah. Well, this episode is kind of piggybacking off of an episode we had a few weeks ago where we talked about how we come up with our word of the year. We replayed an episode that we did, in the way early beginnings of our podcast, where we went through the steps of how to set intentions rather than resolutions. It is linked in the show notes if you're interested. But with that, we sort of walk through how you come up with your word of the year. You know, some people, you may hear people ask, hey, what's your word of the year? And some people just kind of frivolously, come up with one and say, okay, I'm going to have, I don't know, happiness or whatever it is. But we have kind of a process that we do with it to make sure that we're both aligning on the same one. And so we're going to have a discussion about that today.
That's right. And I couldn't be more excited.
Are you feeling overwhelmed by all the stuff piling up in your life? We've got something just for you. It's the Arner Adventures Declutter 365.
Declutter 365 is our easy-to-follow guide designed to help you clear out the clutter from every corner of your life. Whether it's the pile of stuff in your home, the endless digital files on your devices, or even the mental load that keeps you up at night, we've got you covered.
Every day, you tackle a simple task that helps you chip away at the clutter. And the best part? You can start anytime. There's no need to wait for the new year or a Monday. You can dive in whenever you're ready.
Over the span of a year, we'll tackle physical, mental, and digital clutter. Imagine having a more organized home, a cleaner inbox, and a calmer mind, all without feeling overwhelmed. It's all about taking small, manageable steps that add to big changes.
Join us on this journey to a simpler, more mindful life. Head over to arneradventures.com/shop.
Let's make space for what truly matters. And now, let's get back to the show.
And before we move forward, we want to thank all our listeners for sticking with us through another year. It's been another good one, and thanks everybody for staying around.
Yeah, we do appreciate every single person who listens to an episode and the fact that we're coming in your ears, whether you're in the car or walking or whatever you're doing. We're just so appreciative. So thank you so much.
It's been another year of challenges and lots of growth, and we want to share why our word is going to be our guiding principle for us and how it's going to shape the way we're going to move forward this year.
Like we said, we create a word of the year as a couple because we're going through this life together. We may have different ways of approaching the word as our guide, but we agree on it nonetheless.
Creating this together allows for accountability. There was a study at Michigan State University. People who create action plans and provide progress updates to their friend or their partner will achieve a desired goal with their intention 76% more of the time.
Yeah. I thought that was really interesting that 76% of the time that that's
a lot.
That's a big number.
That's
accountability is super important, which we've talked about a lot personally lately. So well, let's get into what our word of the year is. If you follow us on social media, you already know what it is because we put it in a post on January 1st, but we're going to get more into it today. So what is our word of the year for 2025, Jer?
Well, our word of the year, after much careful consideration, is sovereign.
sovereign.
Uh-huh.
And you may be hearing the word sovereign and maybe thinking something about royalty or kings and queens or, some kind of power. But when we really dove into what we were looking for as a guiding word, it all came down to this, like narrowing down all of our feelings, all of our aspirations, our intentions for the year. It came to sovereign. So sovereign really means being the ruler of your own peace, energy, and life decisions. Some of the words that we brainstormed that led us to sovereign was serenity, being unbothered, calm, peace, steady, bliss. What were some others, Jer?
Meditative was one, ease, gentleness, contentment, and that's just name a few. I think we could probably go on, but
yeah. So last year, if you are a listener, a longtime listener, you know that our word was joy. Our year was anything but joy.
Yeah.
So we really were like, okay, this year we're going to work on this word, like really. And we feel like we really came up with it last year because we were like, okay, you choose your own joy.
Mm-hmm.
And while that may be true, there were a lot of things going against us to choose our joy last year. So we really wanted a word to tie it all together while leaving room for our own personal journey separately. So we're going to go through and talk about what sovereign means to each of us and then how we embrace sovereign. So you can know more about the word, but as we go through, you can sort of know what kinds of things that we're doing to implement our word and use our word as guidance for the year. And maybe if you have a word, you can use these prompts for yourself as well. So do you want to go first about what sovereign means to you?
Well, yeah, I can start. I'd like to say, sovereign is about being grounded in my own choices, grounded and focused. I want to, going into the new year, I want confidence, and I don't want my confidence to be swayed by outside events, outside noise, or negativity. For me, sovereign, it's about taking responsibility for my well-being and not letting anyone or anything shake that.
Yeah, I think that's really great.
Yeah.
So sovereign to me means owning my peace, owning my time, owning my energy. After everything that happened last year, I realized that I need to stop letting the world and other people dictate how I feel. It's about having control over my reactions and my boundaries and choosing calm over chaos. And so we together are embracing sovereign. And if you're curious about how we're going to use it, here's a guide. Here's what we're going to do throughout the year. Mm-hmm. So what is the first thing?
Well, number one is defining your boundaries. And I think Shannon and I have both talked before how we've had trouble establishing boundaries with people and influences. So you got to say no to things and people that don't align with your peace, your well-being, and be clear about those boundaries. Make it a priority to protect your time, your energy, and your emotional space.
Yeah, and this could mean cutting out negative influences, distractions, anything that brings unnecessary drama to your life.
Yeah.
So the second thing is we are going to cultivate inner calm. So sovereignty isn't just about external control, but also mastering our own emotional state. So some of the things that we're going to do is we're going to practice meditation, put that as a priority, mindfulness, and journaling to stay connected to our inner peace. We've talked about this a lot lately about journaling. And when Echo passed away this past year, I completely stopped journaling. Like it was almost like I didn't even want to reflect on any happiness, any negativity. I didn't even want to get into my feelings because they were so painful. And so it was like I just completely put it away, which is maybe the opposite of what I should have done. But I'm not going to beat myself up for the way I handle my emotions, but we've talked a lot lately about the journaling part.
Yeah. Oh, the journaling has done a lot for me. I've done it over time, not always on a consistent basis, but I've gotten better with it. And like anything, and I think you will if you keep practicing it. Journaling it's one of the best forms of therapy there is.
Yeah, not to replace therapy.
Nope.
But it is a great thing that you can control on your own, and reminding ourselves that we are in control of certain things and control the things that we can control.
That's right. Number 3 is stand in your power. I like the sound of that. And with this, we mean to take ownership of your choices and your actions and your future, making decisions based on what serves your highest good, and not out of fear or external pressure, but just out of a calmness of knowing you can make the right decisions.
Yeah, and we have to remember that we are the ruler of our own life. So moving forward with confidence and trusting ourselves.
That's right.
So number 4 is we're going to set our goals around self-reliance. So as a sovereign being, this is probably where you're going to start thinking about kings and queens and all of that. But as a sovereign being, it is focusing on your personal growth and self-sufficiency. So we're looking at, what areas of our life need more attention or more development, whether it's emotional resilience, financial stability, or self-care, setting the goals that empower us to grow stronger and more independent is something that's going to be really important.
Definitely. Number 5 is to maintain emotional detachment. So, a key aspect of our word, sovereignty, is keeping emotional detachment from drama or negativity. Doesn't mean you can't be engaged and being compassionate, empathetic, or whatever, but you don't need to internalize other people's issues and take on their emotional baggage or weight. Stay rooted in your peace and recognize when it's time to step away from a situation. That gets back to boundaries, I think. And people that threaten your calm and your inner peace.
Right. And some people may be listening to this, like Jerry said, it doesn't mean that you can't. When we say maintain emotional detachment, one of the things that I know personally, I have said a few times this year that have, 2024, last year, I guess, that have been really difficult is I cannot really open myself to other people's struggles and problems. And it sounds very harsh. It sounds, oh my gosh, you're so selfish or whatever. But I know from my own health, mental well-being, I really have to steer clear of tragic events that have happened. We've had tragic events in North Carolina, Western North Carolina over the past year. And it's like I am empathetic and I want to help where I can, but I can't sit around and think about it and talk about it. It's sort of like, too, something that really bothers me a lot is like animal cruelty and dogs chained and things like that. And I have really had to, like your therapist says, Jared, to put it up in the closet, like pack it away, because I just cannot focus on that negative aspect. It's like, okay, do what I can and then walk away, because it's really going to pull me down in this year that I'm trying to be rooted in my peace and recognize that I have to step away from that.
That's right.
So number 6 is to embody calm leadership. So sovereign doesn't just mean internal peace. It's also about being strong, a calm leader in your own life and then for others. So lead by example. So when I know and we show others that we're grounded, unshaken, thoughtful in difficult times, it could lead other people into being like, okay, like taking care of yourself and being this way isn't selfish. It's about being more assertive about your needs and offering others the space to lead without taking on their drama.
Right. The next step is daily reminders for your word of the year. We have ours at Sovereign, and you can pick one for your own. But these are 3 things that can support that word. And we're going to get into those. The first one is mantra. Create a mantra or affirmation to remind you of your word of the year. For us, Sovereign, we would have something like, I'm the ruler of my peace. I choose calm, strength, and clarity every day.
Yeah, so just creating a mantra, like Jerry said, that is for your word. The second thing you can do, like as daily reminder, is have visual cues. So surround yourself with reminders of your word, whether it's a piece of art. We have our letter board that we have hung that has our word of the year on it. Every time we go into the kitchen, it's there. It can be a daily ritual that signals your commitment to owning your word. For us, it's owning our peace, owning our own life.
The next one is reflection. Regularly reflect on your emotional state. Are you feeling swayed by external drama or staying centered in your calm? Use journaling, back to journaling, or quiet time and check in with yourself and reinforce your mindset for the word of the year.
Yeah. So those 3 things you can do is have a mantra, visual cues, and reflection.
That's right.
And, reflection is what we've talked about a lot, is having a gratitude practice. It can be a gratitude of how you were working towards your intentions for the year or whatever it is, but it is really good to reflect, whether you do it morning or night.
Yeah.
So you might have heard either on social media or on podcasts or whatever, but there's the ins and outs for the year. So for us, we created a list of what's in for us that backs up our word, and the list of what's out. So I think, Jerry, you should go through what's in for 2025. Now, remember, this is for our word sovereign, but whether you want to use this as guidance for your own or if you just want to hear about ours, here is what's in for 2025.
Okay, I like this. Peaceful environments. And I think we like to make our home a peaceful environment.
Yeah.
Say no unapologetically. That's the key word there, unapologetically. Don't be afraid to say no when something doesn't suit you. Protecting our boundaries. It's kind of relatable. To the last one, mindful decision making. Self-care as a priority, surrounding ourselves with uplifting people. Emotional resilience. I like resilience. And less is more. Simplicity over excess.
Here is what's out for 2025. Drama and negativity. No matter what your word is, that should be out. Right. Okay. People pleasing. Overcommitting. Like Jerry said, no is a sentence. It should just be no.
Yeah.
Overcommitting. I know I have a tendency in the past. I think I've been pretty good about it recently, but in the past is saying yes to a lot of things when I don't really want to do it.
Yeah.
Toxic relationships and one-sided connections. Ain't nobody got time for that. Allowing others to drain our energy. Reacting emotionally instead of responding calmly. Feeling obligated to maintain relationships out of guilt. That's a big thing for me.
Yeah.
Comparing ourselves to others. The overwhelm from saying yes to everything. And clutter. Mental, physical, or emotional. That is out.
That's right. So in 2025, we're taking control, keeping the peace, and living sovereignly. We encourage you to choose a word that resonates with you, something that will guide you through the year with intention.
We would love to hear your word of 2025. You can drop us a message, send us an email. We have all this stuff in the show notes, but I think that we should all support each other on this journey toward a more peaceful and empowered life, no matter what your word is.
Yeah, that's right. If this episode resonated with you, or if you know of someone who would benefit from what we talked about, please share it with a friend.
It's a great way of supporting the podcast, and we really appreciate it.
Another way of supporting the pod is by leaving us a 5-star review or rating on the platform you are listening to us on.
And go ahead and hit that subscribe button. That also supports us. You can always find us, the show notes, and sponsors who support the podcast at arneradventures.com.
And until next time, enjoy the journey you're on. We're wishing you lots of adventures.
Bye-bye.